Mother. More like motherfuck. Hey there guys, I'm John Campea. Thanks for visiting my movie vlog and this my quick review of the brand new Darren Aronofsky film, Mother. Now, Mother stars Jennifer Lawrence and Javier Bardem as a peaceful, quiet couple living in their renovation project house pretty much in the middle of nowhere when they are surprisingly visited by also powerhouse actors Ed Harris and Michelle Pfeiffer. Them showing up kind of turns their world upside down. And plot-wise, that's pretty much everything I can tell you about the movie, because telling you literally anything else about the story would pretty much constitute a spoiler. The one thing I'll tell you about Mother, and I don't think this is a spoiler because I'm not giving away a detail about the movie. I'm basically telling you something more about the big, wide-arching general premise of the movie, which is this. The movie's a metaphor, and a lot of different movies are, but this movie takes it to another level. It's a metaphor with 12 other metaphors living within that metaphor, spawning other metaphors, if you can kind of get what I'm saying. Going into the theater, I read a note from Darren Aronofsky that was basically saying that, really, this film is kind of like a result of him seeing what a mess the world is in, and he actually wrote the screenplay in 5 days, and the result is this little movie we've got called Mother. Now look, I am a huge Darren Aronofsky fan. Whether you're talking about Requiem for a Dream, The Wrestler, my favorite film of his, Black Swan. I even liked his film Noah. I think his Noah film was a little bit underrated. So I really like his work. And he is an abstract artist. He really is. He puts ideas and metaphors and allegories and all these types of things onto the screen, painting really vivid, sometimes deep, sometimes dark, sometimes convoluted, sometimes complex pictures of the world as he sees it. Mother is distinctly a Darren Aronofsky film when you sit down and watch it. And while I will agree with some critics, and as of the recording of this review, Mother holds a 78% on Rotten Tomatoes. While I agree with many of them that this movie is the work of an artist, it absolutely is. This movie is ambitious, which it totally is. This movie is unlike any other movie you've ever seen before, which it totally is. So while I agree with all those seemingly really positive things, at the end of the day, I still think you're left with a movie that is not a very satisfying time at the theater. Look, I understand that he's going for right from the beginning. I'm talking about frame one of this movie. Frame one of this movie, right till the final frame of the movie. It's just nuts and crazy and weird and strange. And there's never a moment where you get to catch your breath and go, some normalcy. No, everything is just weird and twisted and deranged the entire way through the film. And on that level, it becomes really tiring and boring, much like how I talk about action. Look, I love action in movies, but if you just do action scene after action scene after action scene after action scene, and at some point you start questioning, wait a minute, why is that guy punching that guy in the face? Why is that guy chasing him? Why are they doing this? There's no dramatic purpose here. You just get fatigued of it and bored. And I found I started to get fatigued and bored of Mother like within the first 30 minutes. For example, take my favorite film of Aronofsky, Black Swan, right? That movie has this veneer, this sheen, if you will, of normalcy. But the whole time you're watching that movie, Aronofsky reminds you and lets you know that underneath the surface, you can just sense something's wrong. Something's not right. There's something very unsettling underneath the surface. And every once in a while in Black Swan, it rears its head up and just kind of shocks the audience a little bit. Now, imagine taking those moments of uneasiness, those moments of shock, if you will, and filling an entire 2 hours worth of it. Yeah, it's nonstop to the point that it becomes boring, repetitive, and predictable in its unpredictability, if you can imagine what I'm talking about. And yes, I understand the message of the movie, and yes, I understand the layers of metaphor that Darren Aronofsky is putting out there on the screen. And yes, it is the work of a master storyteller. It absolutely is. Only a director like Darren Aronofsky could make a film like this. Any other director in the world tries to make this specific film, it won't come out anywhere near as good. But the way I described to my friend coming out of the theater watching it, I said it's like this. Imagine a house being built by a master house craftsman, okay? Just the best house builder in the world. And he uses the finest materials, and he does some really intelligent things. This house will withstand every earthquake, every thunderstorm, every hurricane that could possibly be thrown at it. It's got every modern amenity and all that kind of stuff. But it doesn't change the fact that at the end of the day that you as a home buyer are standing on the sidewalk and looking at it and saying, I don't think this house looks very good. No matter about all those other great things about the house are true, this house is kind of ugly. I don't want to buy it. And that's kind of how I feel about Mother. And I know that there are other reviewers out there right now going, oh, it's great art. It's such great art. And it's high level art. Yes. But just having high level art doesn't mean you have a great movie. Take your high level art and then put it into this wrapper of a good movie. And I just feel like he fell short on that account. So yes, I completely understand what Aronofsky was going for. I know the picture he was trying to paint on screen. I know the story he was trying to tell, but he was so relentless in driving the weird twistedness of the metaphor over and over and over and over again. The film also started to feel very repetitive to me. As a matter of fact, when I was walking out of theater, I also said to my friend, that movie, you could have told every story, every plot point, everything important in that movie, you could have told in a 12-minute short film. And maybe that's where Mother should have lived. Maybe Mother should have been a 12-minute short film and it would have had incredible impact. But as like a full-length feature film, I grew tired of it. It became tedious. It just became boring in all of its unrelenting drive to shock you and make you feel unnerved. It just became tiring. So yeah, at the end of the day, Mother to me is a high concept thought, beautiful idea of a piece of art that was just not brought together in a watchable movie. Now, as I said, right now the critic rating is 78%. So there are a lot of people out there who are enjoying this film and maybe you'll be one of them. I'm just telling you, for me, even though I love Darren Aronofsky's works, I love all of his other films, this one to me was a big miss. Listen guys, while you're here, why don't you take a second, click on that subscribe button, become a subscriber to my YouTube channel. Also, make sure you're following me on social media, on Facebook and on Twitter, simply at John Campea. That'll do it for me, guys. Thanks a lot for joining me, and until my next video, bye-bye.